Well, here we are, Batman Day, September 21st, 2024, celebrating the 85th anniversary of the Batman. Earlier this year, I decided I had this great idea. I was going to go out and collect all the movie Batman from the McFarlane DC Universe toy line. And I thought it would make a great shelf display, a cool little collection. I'm not into I don't collect DC Multiverse from McFarlane. I do love the Superpowers line, but I don't really collect those. But I thought those movie Batman would all be really cool. As the 85th anniversary approached of the iconic Cape Crusader, of course, first created in March of 1939 in Detective Comics number 27, I thought, hey, this is a prime opportunity to showcase each of these figures. And so throughout today, we are going to drop videos every hour or so of each of these characters going chronologically from the original TV series and, of course, the movie that accompanied that TV series, the Adam West Batman, all the way through the most recent film, which is The Flash, and kind of the last wrap-up film of the DC universe, and the Batman that appeared in that movie. And so I'm excited to share those with you today. And we are first going to jump in to that Adam West Batman. So let's head on over and take a look at the iconic figure that started the live-action Batman movie. All right, here we are with our first figure in our Batman marathon. Of course, it is Adam West, Batman 66, part of the DC Multiverse line from McFarlane Toys. Of course, this is a fairly new figure currently out in stores. Comes with that great opportunity to win that vintage cowl. And just look at this figure. Of course, this is the standard edition. There's also a platinum edition that comes in black and white for those first few episodes of the show. Some of those test shots. And of course, the show is, this figure pays homage to that show that ran from early January of 66 through 1968, 120 episodes, a lot of great stories, a lot of great storylines for a show that was super campy and, of course, captured here in all its campy glory with the spandex-like suits, more like those old vintage wrestling suits. Lots of alternate hands, a beautiful sculpt. Of course, you see the classic series TV logo. So we look on the side. Of course, you got the QR code here to learn more on how to enter to win the mask. That glossy portrait of Adam West on the back. Of course, the right side, or left side in this case, showing the Batman classic TV series title. Let's get this thing open and take a look at the first live action Batman in a long line of live action toys to come. All right, here is the figure, and before we get too far into examining the figure, I want to take a quick look at all these accessories. Of course, straight up we have our Batarang. We have a couple different hands. We got the pointy hand and, I don't know, a graspy hand or a Darth Vader force choke hand. We have this Bat radio or Bat remote control. It kind of looks like it's got a speaker here and maybe a TV screen. We have our two peace hands. Perfect for the 60s. And one of the things, like before we start talking about all this articulation on this figure, one of the things that really immediately jumps out to me is the cape. It is a soft good cape, but has that wire lining. that is really going to add to our ability to pose this figure and make it look really great for photography and display and everything else. Of course, also comes with this display stand with the DC logo emblazoned on it. But let's take a look at the figure anyway. So first we have, as we get down in here, he's pretty good size. We have this head that has a little bit of movement to the right and left, very, very tiny up and down, so not a lot of articulation there. We have the butterfly shoulders, which is great. It's going to help with posability. We also have the joint there, so we can get those arms up and around. We have the shoulder rotation right there. Again, double hinged elbows. Always love to see those. And I will say this figure's nice and not very tight. So for a 7-inch figure, that's great. Coming out of the box, I don't have to worry about breaking anything. We have our double hinged knee. The leg here seems to have like a click function, so it's not a ball joint or a barbell in there. It's kind of adjustable. This rib joint or the torso joint folds back real well, but not forward. So it's kind of, this is as far forward as you're going to get them. On the feet, of course, we have the hinged feet, but no side rotation. Doesn't rotate in the legs at all. So fairly stable leg display. So you're not going to get a lot of twisting and turning out of this one. Looks like maybe there's a minor bit of rotation you can do in the leg, or at least the feet, but nothing higher up the leg. So let's see if we can get this guy posed in some more interesting setup, shall we? All right, first up, we have him in that iconic running pose, which you see in many episodes as they rush to danger. Of course, Adam West and Burt Ward being Dick Grayson, Robin. You can see here how that wire really lets us pose this cape and get that sense of action that Adam West is running into danger to save the day. So really, really nice posability there, and easy to recreate specific scenes or vintage photos. So here we have what is an attempted pose of Batman climbing up the side of a building. Of course, this was a camera trick they used where they filmed it level and then turned the camera on its side. And you can see with that wire cape, we can simulate the dangling cape and having him walk up the side of the building. But unfortunately, because that torso joint doesn't lean forward enough and we don't have a really good hinge on those legs, you just can't position him bent over in the right direction. You can't get those knees up high enough to pose him in that classic pose. So that's a disappointment here. We just don't have good enough range of motions on the hips and torso. All right, as we take one final look at one final pose, one of the things that really stands out to me that is a shortcoming of this figure, in addition to the posability on the hips and the torso, is the cape. I mean, I love the soft good cape. I love the wire in the cape. Really makes for some great action shots. But it is way too long. As you look at, some of these pictures, like say this one of Batman, right? You can tell that the cape is nowhere near as long as it is in this McFarlane figure. And that's a real problem for me, because it just takes away from the authenticity of this figure and the great sculpt that we have here. But I still enjoy the figure. I'm glad to have it in the collection. One of the other things that McFarlane does with all these toys, and if you're a McFarlane DC Multiverse collector, you probably already know this, but he includes a collector card with each one of the figures. Well, in this case, the collector card is actually your entry into that cowl giveaway. And so while the back has, we'll just put it out there. There's the front of the card. This is, you can't see this because it's on the back. And of course it says enter for a chance to win. And it has that animated Batman from the intro theme of the TV show. But you can see the back, and there's my code. I already used it, so you can't really take it. But this gives you an entry into the drawing for the cowl. So it's not like there's an instant win. It simply is entered into a drawing. But still, cool to have the chance to win. Great to have this figure in the collection. I'm excited to jump into the next figure in this line. So stay tuned for that. We're going to go take a look at the Keaton Batman. All right, guys, where we have it. What did you think of that Batman 66 from McFarlane Toys? I love this soft goods cape with that metal wire lining. It really lets you get some crazy poses. Of course, this looks like the figure. You can just see the pows and the whams and all those great things from that figure. I am so thrilled to have that one to kick things off. So iconic. Thinking back to the days of watching that movie and TV show, right? I first sought that out after watching and becoming obsessed with Batman when Tim Burton's Batman released in 1989. I went crazy, consuming everything I could find Batman at the time. Buying toys, buying cards, buying comics, buying cereal, buying anything you can imagine. And my appetite for Batman could not be quenched. And I found that 1966 Batman, jumped into the movie, can still remember Adam West hanging off the side of that helicopter with a shark chewing on his legs, going for that bat shark repellent. The absurd nature of that movie and the accompanying show is just an insane way to kick off this movie series today. And now that we've gotten past that, we've gone through the comedy, we're going to transition into The Dark Knight. The first time a serious, more adult-oriented Batman hit the screen. Of course, we're talking about Tim Burton's Michael Keaton. So I hope you will smash this like button and you will subscribe to this channel and ring the bell for notification, because coming up next is, of course, Michael Keaton's Batman, and we've got a surprise along with it. So make sure you join us coming up very soon.